I used to believe that love could move mountains. That if you loved someone hard enough, sacrificed enough, gave enough of yourself away, they would see your worth. They would hold you close and never let go. I was wrong. The chandelier above me sparkled with 1,000 points of light, each one mocking the darkness spreading through my chest. The gallery was filled with alphas in tailored suits, omegas dripping in designer clothes, all of them holding champagne flutes like they were born with them in their hands. Classical music floated through the air, mixing with laughter that sounded like wind chimes, delicate, expensive, and completely foreign to someone like me. I stood near the wall trying to make myself invisible. My shirt was clean but cheap, bought from a discount store 3 years ago. My shoes were scuffed despite my best efforts to polish them. I didn't belong here and everyone knew it. Especially Ryan. Jason, come here. His voice cut through the murmur of conversation, sharp and commanding. My heart jumped. Even after 3 years together, even after everything, his voice still did that to me. I wove through the crowd, keeping my head down, avoiding eye contact with the people who stepped aside with wrinkled noses, as if I carried the smell of the dish soap I used at work. Ryan stood in the center of a group of alphas, all of them tall and confident in ways I would never be. He looked beautiful under the gallery lights, his dark hair perfectly styled, his suit probably costing more than I made in 6 months. When had he started dressing like this? When did the boy I fell in love with, the one who wore band t-shirts and laughed at stupid jokes, become this stranger? There he is, Ryan said as I approached. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Everyone, this is Jason. Well, we've known each other for a while. Not my boyfriend. Not my partner. Just someone he'd known for a while. Hi, I said softly, giving a small wave. My voice came out smaller than I wanted. One of the alphas, a man with silver at his temples and a watch that probably cost more than my rent for a year, looked me up and down. So you're the one Ryan's been hiding. Hiding. The word landed like a stone in my stomach. I wasn't hiding him, Ryan said with a laugh that made my skin crawl. We're from different worlds, you know? Jason here, he's simple. Uncomplicated. Simple. He said it like it was a compliment, but the others smiled like they were in on a joke I didn't understand. Ryan. I started, but he kept talking. In fact, it's funny. Jason can barely read. Isn't that something? In this day and age. He took a sip of his champagne and I watched his throat move as he swallowed. I used to kiss that throat. Used to trace it with my fingers in the dark of our tiny apartment. I tried to help him, but some people just aren't cut out for academics. He's better suited for physical labor. The group laughed. Actually, I laughed. My face burned. My hands started shaking, so I clasped them behind my back. I can read, I whispered. Just not as fast as... Oh, Jason. Ryan's eyes met mine and there was nothing in them. Nothing warm, nothing kind, nothing of the person who used to hold me when I cried, who promised we'd make it through anything together. Don't be embarrassed. You are what you are. An omega who's good at taking orders and not much else. Something inside me cracked. I dropped out of school for you, I heard myself say. My voice was shaking now, barely holding together. You said you needed support while you went to business school. You said. And I'm grateful, Ryan interrupted smoothly. Really I am. You worked those restaurant jobs, those cleaning gigs, and it helped. But Jason. He set down his champagne glass. I've outgrown this. Outgrown us. I'm moving in different circles now and I need someone who can keep up. Someone educated. Someone who won't embarrass me at events like this. What are you saying? But I already knew. God, I already knew. I'm saying it's over. He gestured to another alpha standing nearby, tall, blonde, perfect in every way I wasn't. This is Derek. He's a corporate lawyer, graduated top of his class from Yale. We've been seeing each other for 3 months. 3 months. While I was working double shifts to help pay off Ryan's student loans. While I was skipping meals so he could attend networking dinners. While I was believing every I love you that came out of his lying mouth. You're dirty, Jason, Ryan continued, and his voice was almost bored now. You smell like grease and desperation. You can barely string together a proper sentence. What did you think was going to happen? That I'd marry you? Introduce you to my colleagues? He laughed, cruel and sharp. You were convenient. That's all. The room spun. Faces blurred. Someone was crying, high, desperate sounds, and it took me a moment to realize it was me. Ryan, please. I reached for him and he stepped back like I was diseased. Don't touch me. Not here. Not ever again. He took Derek's hand, threading their fingers together in a gesture that used to be ours. I'll have your things sent to wherever you end up. Don't contact me again. And then he walked away. They all walked away, leaving me standing alone in the middle of that beautiful gallery, surrounded by art I couldn't afford to look at and people who saw me as less than human. I don't remember leaving. I don't remember the walk back to the apartment. Ryan's apartment, I realized with horror because I'd never signed the lease, never had my name on anything. I just remember standing outside the building at midnight, a trash bag with my clothes in one hand, my phone with 17 unread messages from Ryan's lawyer in the other, and nowhere to go. The city lights blurred through my tears. Love was supposed to be enough. Why wasn't I enough? 3 weeks later, I was wiping down tables at Rosie's Diner on 5th and Main, trying to remember how to breathe. The diner was small, cramped, and perpetually smelled like coffee and frying bacon. The linoleum floors were cracked, the red vinyl booths patched with duct tape, and the neon sign outside flickered every few minutes like it was having a seizure. But Rosie, the 70-year-old owner with purple hair and more tattoos than teeth, had taken one look at me, shaking and desperate, and hired me on the spot. "You look like you need this more than I need another waiter," she'd said, sliding an apron across the counter. "Minimum wage tips are yours and I don't ask questions." I almost cried right there. Now I spend my days carrying plates, refilling coffee, and perfecting the art of being invisible. Most customers didn't even look at me. I was just the Omega who brought their food, nothing worth noticing. Which was exactly what I wanted. "Jason, table 7 needs a refill." Rosie's voice carried from the kitchen. "On it." I grabbed the coffee pot and made my way across the diner. Table 7 was occupied by a middle-aged alpha in a business suit, his phone pressed to his ear. He didn't look up as I poured and didn't acknowledge my existence. I was furniture to him. A thing that served coffee. "Thank you," I said quietly like Rosie taught me. "Always be polite. Always smile. Even when they don't see you." He grunted. I went back to wiping tables, my mind drifting somewhere safer. Somewhere that didn't hurt. The bell above the door chimed. I didn't look up. Just grabbed my notepad and started toward the new customer, my well-practiced smile already in place. "Welcome to Rosie's, I'll be your server today." "This place is disgusting." I froze. The voice was small, young, and filled with the kind of disdain only children of privilege could master. I looked up to find a little girl 7 years old, sitting in the booth nearest the window. She wore a white dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent, her dark hair pulled back in a perfect ponytail, and she was glaring at me like I'd personally offended her. Behind her stood a man. And oh God, what a man. He was tall, well over 6 feet, with broad shoulders that filled out his black suit perfectly. His hair was dark, styled with the kind of effortless precision that came from expensive salons, and his face, sharp jawline, high cheekbones, and eyes so dark they were almost black. An alpha, obviously. The pheromones rolling off him were intense enough to make my Omega instincts sit up and take notice, even through my suppressants. But it was his expression that caught me. Cold. Completely, utterly cold. Like he was carved from marble and just as warm. "I apologize for the venue," he said to the girl, his voice deep and controlled. "But you insisted on seeing where normal people eat." The girl wrinkled her nose. "It smells weird." "Lily," the man said, a warning in his tone. I cleared my throat, trying to remember how to do my job. "Can I get you started with something to drink?" The girl, Lily, looked me up and down. Her lip curled. "Are you slow or something?" "I want orange juice. Fresh squeezed. Not the cheap stuff from a carton." My smile didn't waver even though my hands were starting to shake. "We have regular orange juice, is that okay?" "Regular?" She said it like I'd offered her poison. "Do you even understand English?" I said, "Fresh squeezed." "Lily, that's enough." The man's voice was sharper now. But Lily wasn't done. She leaned forward, her eyes bright with cruelty. "Your clothes are ugly. And you talk funny. Are you poor? You smell poor." Something inside me cracked. Again. Like it had been cracking every day since Ryan, little fissures spreading through what was left of my heart. I'll get you the orange juice," I whispered and turned away before she could see the tears. "Jason." I stopped. The man was looking at me now, really looking, and there was something in his eyes I couldn't identify. "I apologize for my daughter," he said quietly. "That was inappropriate." I shook my head. "It's fine. I'm used to it." "You shouldn't be." Our eyes met, and for just a second, the cold in his expression melted. Just a fraction. Just enough for me to see something underneath, something that looked almost like recognition? Understanding? Then it was gone and he was ice again. "2 orange juices," he said. "Whatever you have is fine." I nodded and fled to the kitchen, my heart pounding for reasons I didn't understand. Rosie looked up from the grill. "You okay, Jason?" "Yeah," I lied. "Just customers." I poured 2 orange juices with shaking hands, loaded them on a tray and brought them back out. The man, I didn't know his name, was saying something to Lily in a low, firm voice. She looked sullen but quiet. I set down their drinks without a word. "Thank you," the man said. I risked a glance at him. He was still watching me, those dark eyes tracking my movements like I was a puzzle he was trying to solve. "You're welcome," I managed and escaped again. They stayed for an hour. Lily complained about everything. The food, the temperature, the music playing on Rosie's ancient radio. But the man ate in silence, and every time I came to check on them, I felt his gaze on me. When they finally left, I cleared their table and found a $100 bill tucked under his plate. Their meal had cost $18. And underneath the bill was a business card. Simple, elegant, with just a name and a phone number. Alexander Monroe. I stared at it, my hands trembling. On the back, in precise handwriting, were 4 words. "Call me when you're off work." I didn't call. For 3 days, that business card sat in my pocket like a hot coal, burning through my cheap work pants, impossible to ignore but equally impossible to act on. Every time I reached for my phone, Ryan's voice echoed in my head. "You're dirty. You're illiterate. You're not worth anyone's time. Why would a man like Alexander Monroe want to talk to someone like me?" On the 4th day, my phone rang. Unknown number. My finger hovered over the decline button, but something made me answer. "Hello. You didn't call." His voice was unmistakable, deep, controlled, with an edge of something I couldn't quite name. I'm not used to being ignored. My breath caught. "Mr. Monroe?" "Alex," he corrected. "And you're Jason. How did you get my number?" "I own the building your diner is in." It wasn't difficult. Pause. "Are you off work yet?" I glanced at the clock. My shift ended in 20 minutes. Almost. Good. There's a coffee shop 2 blocks east. Meet me there in 30 minutes. I don't. Please. That single word, soft and unexpected from a man who seemed made of granite, stopped my refusal cold. "Okay," I whispered. He hung up. I stared at my phone, my heart racing. This was insane. This was dangerous. Men like Alex Monroe didn't talk to men like me unless they wanted something, and whatever he wanted I probably couldn't afford to give. But I went anyway. The coffee shop was one of those trendy places with exposed brick walls, hanging plants, and a menu written in chalk that I couldn't quite make out. I stood outside for 5 minutes, gathering courage before finally pushing through the door. Alex was already there, sitting in a corner booth, looking completely out of place in his $1,000 suit surrounded by college students on laptops. He saw me immediately and stood. "Jason." "Hi." I slid into the seat across from him, my hands twisting in my lap. I'm not sure why I'm here." "Because I asked you to come." He gestured to a cup already sitting on the table. "I ordered you a coffee. Black, 2 sugars. Was I correct?" I blinked. "How did you know?" "I notice things." He leaned back, studying me with those dark, intense eyes. "You take your coffee that way at the diner? You also prefer the corner tables when you're on break, and you have a habit of tracing the rim of your cup when you're thinking about something that makes you sad." My chest tightened. "You've been watching me." "Yes." The bluntness of it should have scared me. Instead, it made something warm unfurl in my stomach. "Why?" I asked. "Because you're beautiful." I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "I'm not. People have made that very clear." "Then they're blind." He said it like a fact, not a compliment. When you smile at customers, even the rude ones, there's a kindness in it that's rare. When you think no one is watching, you look lost. Hurt. Like you're carrying something too heavy. He paused. "I want to know what broke you." Tears pricked my eyes. I looked away, focusing on the coffee I hadn't touched. "I can't talk about that." "Then don't." "Not yet." He reached across the table and I thought he might touch my hand, but he didn't. Just left his palm there, open, offered. "Tell me something else. Something true." I swallowed hard. "I can't read very well. Your daughter was right. I'm slow. I dropped out of high school and never went back." "Why?" "Because someone I loved needed me to work instead." The words tumbled out before I could stop them. He needed support. Money. Time. So I gave it to him. I gave him everything, and when he didn't need me anymore, he threw me away like trash. Alex's jaw tightened. "He's an idiot. He's successful. Respected. Everything I'm not. Success means nothing if you crush people to achieve it." Alex's voice went colder. "I know men like that. I've destroyed companies run by men like that." I finally looked at him. Really looked at him. Behind the ice, behind the perfect control, there was something fierce. Something protective. "Why do you care?" I whispered. "You don't know me." Not yet, he agreed. But I'd like to. I'm nobody. I'm just a waiter. An omega with no education, no family, no future. You're a person who deserves better than what you've been given. He pulled out his phone, typed something quickly, then slid it across the table. This is the information for a GED program. Night classes 3 times a week. I'll pay for it. I stared at the screen. I can't accept that. Why not? Because I don't know what you want from me. I want to have coffee with you again. His eyes met mine. And again after that. I want to learn what makes you smile genuinely, not that polite mask you wear at work. I want to teach you that you're worth more than what one cruel man told you. My hands were shaking again. What if I can't be what you want? Then we'll figure it out together. He finally touched me, just his fingers brushing mine so gentle I almost didn't feel it. I'm not asking you to be anything other than yourself, Jason. I'm just asking for a chance. I should have said no. Should have protected myself from the inevitable moment when he too would realize I wasn't enough. But when I looked into those dark eyes, I didn't see pity. I didn't see charity. I saw the possibility. Okay, I breathed. One more coffee. His lips curved into the smallest smile I'd ever seen, and somehow it felt like sunrise. Over the next 2 weeks, coffee became our ritual. Every day after my shift, I'd walk those 2 blocks to the coffee shop, and Alex would be there waiting. Sometimes he'd already ordered my coffee. Sometimes we'd order together, and he'd gently correct the barista when they wrote my name wrong on the cup. It's Jason, not J, like it mattered. Like I mattered. We talked about small things at first. Movies, though I hadn't seen most of what he mentioned. Music, though our tastes were worlds apart. The weather, the city, the way Rosie's neon sign finally gave up and died last Tuesday. But slowly, carefully, we talked about bigger things. Tell me about your family, he asked one evening, his coffee cup cradled between his hands. I shifted uncomfortably. Not much to tell. My mom died when I was 15. Cancer. Dad, he couldn't handle it. I started drinking. I left when I was 17 and we haven't spoken since. I'm sorry. It's fine. I'm used to being alone. You shouldn't be used to that either. His gaze was steady, unflinching. What did you dream about? Before him? Ryan. He never said Ryan's name, like speaking it would give him power. I wanted to open a cafe, I admitted, feeling foolish. Something small and warm. With bookshelves and comfortable chairs. A place where people could feel safe. I laughed. Stupid, right? I can barely read and I want to open a place filled with books. It's not stupid. Alex's voice was soft. It's beautiful. And achievable. Not for someone like me. Stop saying that. There was steel in his tone now. Stop limiting yourself based on what one person told you. You're 23 years old, Jason. Your life isn't over. It's barely begun. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. What about you? I asked, deflecting. What's your dream? He was quiet for a long moment. I built an empire, he finally said. Monroe Industries. We're worth billions. I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes, more power than I know what to do with. He paused. And I'm fucking miserable. The curse word shocked me, he rarely swore. Why? I asked. Because I sacrificed everything for success. My marriage ended badly. My daughter barely tolerates me. I work 18-hour days and go home to an empty penthouse. His eyes met mine. Until 2 weeks ago, I couldn't remember the last time I wanted to talk to someone just to hear their voice. My heart stuttered. Alex. You make me feel human again, he said quietly. Do you understand that? I didn't know what to say. How to process that this powerful, brilliant man found something valuable in a broken, barely educated me. So I did the only thing I could think of. I reached across the table and took his hand. His fingers closed around mine immediately, warm and strong. We sat like that for a long time, not speaking, just existing together in the comfortable silence of the coffee shop while the world moved on outside. A week later, Alex picked me up after work in a car that probably cost more than I'd make in my entire life. Where are we going? I asked, sliding into the leather seat. You'll see. He drove us to a quiet bookstore on the edge of town, the kind with wooden floors and the smell of old pages. The owner greeted Alex by name. Mr. Monroe. Your usual order? Not today, Frank. Today I'm shopping with a friend. He guided me through the aisles, pulling books off shelves with careful consideration. Children's books at first, with simple words and bright pictures. Alex, I can't. Yes, you can. He pressed a copy of The Giving Tree into my hands. We're going to start here. Together. We ended up in the children's section, sitting cross-legged on the floor like kids ourselves, and Alex opened the first book. Read to me, he said gently. I'll mess up. Then you'll mess up. I don't care. So I did. Haltingly, stumbling over words, my face burning with embarrassment. But Alex never rushed me. Never sighed with impatience. Just waited, encouraging until I found my rhythm. Once there was a tree. I read, my voice shaking. And she loved a little boy. Good, Alex murmured. Keep going. By the time we finished, tears were streaming down my face. Not from sadness, but from something bigger. Something that felt like hope. You did beautifully, Alex said, wiping my tears with his thumb. I'm proud of you. No one had ever said that to me before. I broke down completely, sobbing into his shoulder while he held me in the middle of that bookstore, his hand stroking my hair, whispering that it was okay, that I was okay, that everything would be okay. And for the first time in months, I believed it. It happened on a Tuesday night, 3 weeks after our first coffee. Alex had insisted on taking me to dinner, a real restaurant, not the diner, and I'd been terrified the entire time. But he'd chosen carefully, a quiet Italian place with dim lighting and no dress code. Nothing too fancy. Nothing that would make me feel like I didn't belong. Try this, he said, sliding a forkful of his pasta across the table. I took it and the flavors exploded on my tongue. Oh my God. Good? Amazing. I couldn't help but smile. I've never had anything like this. Then we'll come back. He said it like a promise. Like he planned to keep me around. The thought made my chest warm. After dinner we walked through the park nearby. It was late enough that the paths were mostly empty, just us and the streetlights and the sound of our footsteps on the pavement. I enrolled in the GED program, I said quietly. Alex stopped walking. You did? Yeah. Classes start next week. I looked up at him. I'm terrified. You'll be brilliant. His certainty made me want to cry. And I'll help you study. Whenever you need it. Why are you so good to me? Because you deserve it. He turned to face me fully, his hand coming up to cup my cheek. Because when I look at you, I see someone extraordinary who's been convinced he's ordinary. And I want to spend every day proving that wrong. My breath caught. Alex. Can I kiss you? He asked, his thumb brushing my cheekbone. I've wanted to for weeks, but I won't unless you want it too. Want it? I'd been dreaming about it. Wondering what his lips would feel like. Whether he'd be gentle or demanding. Whether I'd remember how to kiss after Ryan. I pushed that thought away and nodded. Yes. He moved slowly, giving me time to change my mind, but I didn't. And when his lips finally met mine, everything else disappeared. The kiss was soft at first. Tentative. His lips warm and firm against mine, tasting like wine and something uniquely him. His hand stayed on my cheek, the other settling on my waist, pulling me closer. I gasped against his mouth and he took advantage, deepening the kiss. His tongue swept across my lower lip, seeking entrance, and I opened for him without thinking. God, he tasted good. Felt good. His body was solid against mine, all strength and heat, and I couldn't help the small sound that escaped my throat. Alex groaned in response, his hand fisting in my hair, not painfully, just possessive, and tilted my head for better access. The kiss turned hungry, desperate. Weeks of tension and longing pouring into this single moment. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, his forehead rested against mine. I've wanted to do that since the moment I saw you, he whispered. Just that. His laugh was low, dark. No, not just that. But we're taking this slowly. What if I don't want to be slow? Then I'll remind you that you're worth more than a rushed encounter in a park. His eyes were intense, burning. When I take you to bed, Jason, it will be because you trust me completely. Because you know I won't hurt you. Because you want it as much as I do. The promise in his words made me shiver. I'm starting to trust you, I admitted. Good. He pressed another soft kiss to my lips. That's all I need for now. We started texting constantly after that. Good morning messages that made me smile. Random observations throughout the day. Photos of things that reminded him of me, books, coffee cups, a sunset he thought I'd like. Thinking about you, he'd text at random times. Me too, I'd send back, my heart racing. He introduced me to Lily properly, lunch at a neutral location where she couldn't throw a tantrum. This is Jason, Alex said firmly. He's important to me. You will treat him with respect. Lily looked between us, her expression calculating for a 7-year-old. Are you dating him? Yes. Is he going to live with us? That's not a conversation for right now. Alex's tone left no room for argument. But he'll be around. And you will be polite. She studied me for a long moment. Do you make my dad happy? The question caught me off guard. I hope so. He smiles more now, she said matter-of-factly. He didn't used to smile. Then, surprising me completely, she turned to Alex. Okay. He can stay. It wasn't exactly a warm welcome, but it was a start. I should have known it was too perfect to last. The GED classes were going well. I was actually learning, actually reading full paragraphs without stumbling. Alex tutored me 3 nights a week, patient and encouraging, celebrating every small victory like it was a major achievement. Work at the diner was the same, exhausting but familiar. Rosie had given me a raise after Alex coincidentally started eating lunch there twice a week, tipping outrageously. That man is courting you properly, Rosie said one day, grinning. Don't let him get away. I didn't plan to, but the universe had other plans. It was a Thursday evening. I was clearing tables when the bell above the door chimed. I looked up automatically, smile in place, and froze. Ryan. He stood in the doorway looking exactly like he had at that horrible gallery event. Perfect, polished, cold. And he was staring right at me. My hands started shaking so badly I nearly dropped the plates I was holding. I set them down carefully, my entire body going numb. Ryan walked toward me, his expression unreadable. Jason. We need to talk. No. The word came out strangled. No, we don't. 5 minutes. Please. His voice was softer now, almost pleading. Almost like the old Ryan, the one I'd loved. I made a mistake. You need to leave, I said louder now. Rosie looked up from the register, her eyes narrowed. I miss you, Ryan continued, ignoring my words. I was wrong. Cruel. I let success go to my head and I lost the only person who actually mattered. Stop. Derek is gone. The job is empty. Nothing feels right without you. He reached for my hand and I jerked away. Come back, please. We can start over. Everything okay here? Rosie had moved from behind the register, her hand on her hip. She might be 70, but she was protective as hell. Fine, I managed. He's leaving. I'm not leaving until you listen. The kid said no. Rosie crossed her arms. You've got 10 seconds to get out before I call the cops. Ryan's expression hardened. Of course. You've got people protecting you now. Did you find some other alpha to take care of you? Is that it? You couldn't make it a month without someone to leech off. The words hit like physical blows. Get the fuck out of my diner, Rosie snarled. Ryan looked at me one last time. You'll regret this. When whoever you're with now realizes what you are, illiterate, needy, pathetic, you'll come crawling back. And I won't be waiting. He left, the door slamming behind him. I stood frozen, unable to move, unable to breathe. The diner spun around me and I ran. Out the back door, into the alley where I collapsed against the brick wall and threw up everything in my stomach. My whole body shook with sobs I couldn't control. Worthless. Pathetic. Dirty. The words circled my brain, Ryan's voice mixing with every cruel thing anyone had ever said to me, until I couldn't tell which were memories and which were now. I don't know how long I sat there. Minutes. Hours. Time didn't work anymore. Eventually I heard footsteps. Jason. Alex. Of course it was Alex. Rosie must have called him. I couldn't look up. Couldn't face him. Not like this. Not when I was exactly what Ryan said I was. Broken, worthless, a burden. Don't, I choked out. Don't look at me. He didn't listen. He crouched down beside me, his hand gently tilting my face up. His expression when he saw me, God, I'd never seen him look like that. Furious. Protective. Devastated. Who did this? His voice was deadly quiet. It doesn't matter. Who did this? My ex, I whispered. He came to the diner. Said things. True things. Nothing he said was true. Alex pulled me into his arms, holding me so tight I could barely breathe. Nothing, Jason. Do you hear me? You don't know. I know that you're brave. I know you've survived things that would break most people. I know that you're learning to read despite years of being told you couldn't. I know that you make me want to be better. His hand stroked my hair. I know that I'm falling in love with you. I stopped breathing. What? I'm falling in love with you, he repeated, pulling back to look at me. Probably have been since that first day when you apologized for something that wasn't your fault. When you bowed your head and accepted cruelty like it was what you deserved. His thumb brushed my tears away. You deserve everything good in this world, Jason. And I want to give it to you. I'm scared, I admitted. Of what? That you'll realize he was right. That I'm not enough. That I'll never be enough. Then I'll spend every day proving that fear wrong. He pressed a kiss to my forehead. Come home with me tonight. Let me take care of you. Alex. Please. His eyes were so dark, so intense. I need to know you're safe. I should have said no. Should have protected my heart. but I was so tired of being strong alone. Okay, I whispered. He lifted me like I weighed nothing, carrying me to his car while I clung to his neck, feeling fragile and precious and terrified. This wouldn't last. It couldn't? Alex's penthouse was like stepping into another world. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Furniture that looked like art. A kitchen bigger than my entire apartment. Everything pristine, perfect, and utterly intimidating. I don't belong here, I said quietly. You belong wherever I want you to be. He set me down gently on the massive couch. And I want you here. He disappeared into another room, returning with soft clothes. A t-shirt and sweatpants that would be huge on me. Change into these. I'll make tea. I obeyed, stripping off my grease-stained work clothes and pulling on his things. They smelled like him, expensive cologne and something warmer, more fundamental. I buried my face in the shirt and just breathed. When I came out, Alex was in the kitchen, 2 mugs steaming on the counter. He'd removed his suit jacket, rolled up his sleeves, and somehow looked even more devastating in casual disarray. Sit, he commanded gently. I sat. He brought the tea over, settling beside me. Close enough that our thighs touched. Tell me about him. I don't want to. I need to know what I'm fighting against. His hand found mine, threading our fingers together. Please. So I told him. Everything. Meeting Ryan in community college before I dropped out. Falling stupidly, completely in love. The sacrifices. The promises. The slow erosion of my self-worth until I believed I was lucky Ryan even tolerated me. He made me feel invisible, I said quietly. Like I was only valuable when I was useful. And then at that party, my voice broke. He made me feel like nothing. He's wrong. Alex's grip on my hand tightened. You're not nothing. You're everything. You can't mean that. Can't I? He shifted, turning to face me fully. Jason, in the 6 weeks I've known you, you've made me laugh more than I have in years. You've made me want to leave work early, something I've never done. You've made me think about a future that doesn't involve just accumulating more money I don't need. That's not love. It's love, he interrupted. Maybe not the complete, all-consuming kind yet. But it's growing. Every day. Every time you smile at me. Every time you trust me with another piece of your story. Tears were falling again. I seemed to cry constantly around him. I don't know how to do this, I admitted. How to be with someone who actually cares. Then we'll learn together. He cupped my face with both hands. I'm not perfect, Jason. I work too much. I'm controlling. I have a daughter who's struggling with her own issues. My ex-wife hates me. I'm not some fairy tale prince. You're close enough. His laugh was soft. No, but I'm someone who sees you. Really sees you. And I like what I see. Alex. I leaned into his touch. I'm scared I'll disappoint you. Impossible. What if I can't keep up with your world? What if? He kissed me. Not soft like in the park. Not gentle and exploratory. This was claiming. Demanding. His tongue swept into my mouth, tasting, possessing, and I melted into him with a sound that was half sob, half moan. His hands moved from my face to my waist, pulling me closer until I was practically in his lap. I went willingly, straddling his thighs, my fingers tangling in his perfect hair. You're not disappointing me, he growled against my mouth. You could never disappoint me. I rolled my hips experimentally, feeling him hard beneath me, and gasped. Jason. My name was a warning. We should stop. Why? Because you're emotional. Vulnerable. I won't take advantage. You're not taking advantage of me if I'm asking for it. I pulled back to look at him. I trust you. I want this. I want you. His eyes darkened. Are you sure? Yes. If we do this, there's no going back. You'll be mine. His hands gripped my hips possessively. Only mine. The possessiveness should have scared me. Instead, it made heat pool in my belly. I'm already yours, I whispered. He stood, taking me with him, my legs wrapping around his waist automatically. Bedroom. Now. I'd never been carried like this, like I was precious and desired and necessary all at once. He navigated through the penthouse without looking, his mouth never leaving mine, until we reached a bedroom that was all dark colors and masculine elegance. He laid me on the bed carefully, following me down, his weight pressing me into the mattress. Perfect. Right. Tell me if you want to stop, he murmured, kissing down my neck. At any point. Promise me. I promise. His hands found the hem of my borrowed shirt, his shirt, and pulled it up slowly. I lifted my arms, letting him remove it, suddenly shy. Beautiful, he breathed, looking at me like I was art. So fucking beautiful. No one had ever looked at me like that. like I was something to worship. His mouth found my collarbone, then lower, tracing patterns across my chest. When his tongue flicked across my nipple, I arched off the bed with a cry. Sensitive. His smile was wicked. Good. He took his time mapping every inch of my skin, learning what made me gasp, what made me writhe. By the time his hand slipped beneath the waistband of the sweatpants, I was trembling. Please, I begged. Please what? Touch me. God, Alex, please. He did, his large hand wrapping around me, and I nearly came apart right there. Not yet, he commanded. I want to taste you first. He did. Slowly. Thoroughly. Until I was sobbing his name, my hands fisted in his hair, my entire world narrowed to the heat of his mouth and the pleasure building inside me. When I finally came, it was with his name on my lips and tears on my cheeks, and he swallowed every sound, every shudder, like it was the most precious gift. Afterward, he held me, both of us still clothed from the waist down, my body trembling with aftershocks. Thank you, I whispered. For what? For making me feel like I matter. His arms tightened around me. You do matter. To me. To Lily, whether she admits it yet. To Rosie. To everyone whose life you touch. I buried my face in his chest, breathing him in. I think I'm falling in love with you too. Good. He pressed a kiss to my hair. Because I'm not letting you go. Ever. For the first time in my life, being claimed didn't feel like a prison. It felt like home. The next few weeks were the happiest of my life. I moved into Alex's penthouse. Not officially, not completely, but I spent more nights there than in my cramped studio apartment. Lily was warming to me slowly. She'd stopped openly insulting me, and occasionally she'd ask me to read to her, which Alex said was a major breakthrough. She doesn't trust easily, he explained one night, both of us tangled in his massive bed. Her mother left when she was 4. Just packed up and disappeared. Lily thinks everyone will eventually leave. I won't, I said. I know. He kissed my shoulder. That's why she's starting to believe it. My GED studies were progressing. Alex quizzed me every evening, patient when I struggled, enthusiastic when I succeeded. I was reading at almost a 10th grade level now, and it felt like climbing a mountain. You're brilliant, Alex would say. I'm trying, I'd respond. Same thing. Work at the diner continued, though Alex kept suggesting I quit. Let me support you while you study. You don't need to exhaust yourself. But I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready to be completely dependent on him, even though I trusted him more than anyone I'd ever known. Then Ryan came back. Not to the diner this time. No, he was smarter than that. He showed up at the GED class. I was in the middle of a practice exam when the door opened and he walked in, dressed casually but still radiating that alpha confidence I used to find attractive. My hands started shaking immediately. Can I help you? The instructor, Mrs. Chen, asked. I'm here to observe the program, Ryan said smoothly. Thinking about funding it? Community education is important. Mrs. Chen beamed. Of course. Please take a seat. He sat directly behind me. For the next hour, I felt his eyes on me. Felt his presence like a physical weight. My answers on the practice exam were garbage. I couldn't concentrate, couldn't think past the panic building in my chest. When class finally ended, I tried to bolt. Jason, wait. I kept walking. Jason, please. I just want to talk. I don't want to talk to you. He caught my arm and I flinched so hard I nearly fell. He let go immediately, his expression softening. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. What do you want, Ryan? I told you. I made a mistake. I want you back. No. Is it because of him? That alpha I saw you with in the society pages? His voice turned bitter. Alex Monroe. Of course. You traded up, didn't you? From a mid-level marketing executive to a billionaire. It's not like that. No? Then what is it like? Does he know what you really are? Does he know you can barely read? That you're damaged and needy and... Stop. My voice was shaking. Just stop. I don't care what you think of me anymore. But you used to care. He stepped closer. You used to love me. That doesn't just disappear. It does when you destroy it. I looked at him, really looked at him, and felt nothing. No love. No anger. Just nothing. You were right at that party, Ryan. I was convenient. I was useful. But I was never your partner. Never your equal. I took a breath. Alex treats me like I matter. Like my thoughts and feelings are important. Like I'm worth more than what I can do for him. That's the difference. He'll get bored, Ryan said coldly. Men like him don't stay with men like you. Maybe. Maybe you're right. But at least I'll know what real love feels like before it ends. I turned to leave. Don't contact me again. Jason. I mean it, Ryan. We're done. We've been done. Let me go. He didn't follow me. But as I walked to my car, Alex's car, really, he'd insisted I use it for night classes, I felt proud. Stronger. Like maybe I was finally becoming the person I was supposed to be before Ryan broke me. I texted Alex, "Need you. Can you come home?" His response was immediate, "On my way." When Alex arrived, I was sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. He took one look at me and pulled me into his arms. What happened? I told him everything, Ryan at the class, the confrontation, what I'd said. "I'm proud of you," Alex said when I finished. Standing up to him like that took courage. "I'm tired of being afraid." "Then let's make sure he can't hurt you again." His voice took on that cold, calculating tone I'd heard him use on business calls. "I'll have my lawyers draft a restraining order. If he contacts you again, he'll face legal consequences." "Alex, I don't want to cause trouble." "You're not causing anything." "He is." Alex cupped my face. "You're mine to protect now. That means I protect you. From him, from anyone who tries to hurt you. Understand?" I nodded. "Good." He kissed me softly. "Now, I have something to show you." He led me to his study, a room I'd only been in a few times. On his desk was a folder. "What's this?" "Open it." Inside were business plans, architectural drawings, financial projections. For a cafe. My cafe. "Alex." I couldn't breathe. "You said you wanted to open a place with books and comfort. Somewhere people could feel safe." He stood behind me, his arms around my waist. "I can make that happen. If you want. This must cost. Money I have. What I don't have is seeing you this happy." He turned me around. "I want to invest in your dream, Jason. In you. In us." Tears were falling again. "Why do you believe in me so much?" "Because you're worth believing in." He kissed each tear away. "Say yes. Let me do this." "Yes," I whispered. "God, yes." His smile was brilliant. "Then we'll start planning tomorrow. Together." That night, he made love to me with a tenderness that broke me apart and put me back together better. Afterward, wrapped in his arms, I finally felt like my life was beginning instead of ending. "I love you," I said into the darkness. "I love you too," he replied. More than I thought possible. And for the first time, I believed in forever. 3 months later, the cafe was taking shape. It occupied a corner spot on Maple Street, with huge windows and exposed brick walls. Alex had given me complete creative control, the color schemes, the furniture, the menu. Everything. "This is your vision," he said. "I'm just making it possible." I decided on warm colors, deep oranges and soft yellows like sunset. Bookshelves lined every wall, some filled with books Alex had purchased, others waiting for donations. There would be comfortable chairs, quiet corners, and a reading nook specifically for children. "It's perfect," I breathed, standing in the construction zone with Alex beside me. "Not yet. But it will be." He squeezed my hand. "Have you thought about a name?" I had. "The Second Chapter." He considered. "Why that?" "Because everyone deserves a second chapter. A second chance." I looked at him. "You gave me mine." His kiss was soft and sweet in the middle of sawdust and chaos. Meanwhile, life continued to shift and settle into new patterns. I'd passed my GED. The certificate sat framed in Alex's study, something he'd insisted on. "Your first major achievement," he'd said. "Of many." I'd enrolled in community college. Part-time, just business classes to learn how to actually run a cafe. Alex helped with homework, never making me feel stupid when I struggled. Lily had started calling me Jason instead of the Omega, or that guy. Small progress, but progress nonetheless. "Do you think your dad really loves me?" I asked her one day when Alex was working late and I was watching her. She looked up from her homework. Ironically, I was helping her with reading comprehension now. "He talks about you all the time. It's annoying." I laughed. "Sorry." "He never talked about Mom that way." She chewed her pencil. "Or anyone else. So yeah, I think he loves you." Pause. "Do you love him back?" "Very much." "Good." She returned to her homework. "Because if you hurt him, I'll be mad." It was the most protective I'd seen her. Made my chest warm. That night, when Alex came home exhausted from meetings, I'd made dinner. Nothing fancy, just pasta and salad, and he'd looked at me like I'd given him the world. "You cooked." "Don't sound so surprised." "I can cook." "I know. It's just." He pulled me close. "This feels like home." "You feel like home." "Good." I kissed him. "Because I'm not going anywhere." But of course life couldn't stay perfect forever. The problem started at one of Alex's business dinners. He'd asked me to accompany him, a formal event with his board of directors and major shareholders. You don't have to come if you're uncomfortable, he'd said. But I wanted to. I wanted to be part of his world, not just the person waiting at home. So I dressed in the suit Alex had bought me, tailored, expensive, making me look almost like I belonged, and accompanied him to the dinner. The restaurant was exactly as I'd feared. Intimidatingly elegant, full of people who took one look at me and knew I didn't fit. Relax, Alex murmured, his hand on my lower back. You're with me. That's all that matters. I tried to believe him. Dinner started fine. I sat beside Alex, mostly quiet, letting the conversation flow around me. Business talk I didn't fully understand, name-dropping of companies and people I'd never heard of. Then one of the board members, a silver-haired alpha named Richard, turned to me. So, Jason, what do you do? I'm opening a cafe, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. On Maple Street. A cafe. He said it like I'd said, a lemonade stand. How quaint. Did you go to culinary school? No, sir. I'm actually in community college now, studying business. Community college. Richard's smile was condescending. Well, everyone has to start somewhere, I suppose. Alex's hand tightened on his wine glass. Jason is incredibly talented. His cafe will be successful. I'm sure it will be adequate. Richard turned back to his meal, dismissing me entirely. I felt small. Worthless. Like I was back at that gallery with Ryan. The rest of dinner was torture. I barely ate and couldn't focus on the conversation. When it finally ended, I was the first one in the car. Jason, Alex started. Don't. I couldn't look at him. Just take me home. Richard is an asshole. His opinion means nothing. But he's right, isn't he? I turned to face him. I don't belong in your world, Alex. I'm a community college student opening a small cafe while you're running $1 billion company. We're not equals. I don't want equals. I want you. For how long? The question burst out before I could stop it. How long before you realize I'm holding you back? That you could have someone educated, polished, someone who actually fits. Jason, listen to me. Ryan was right. Men like you don't stay with men like me. Alex's expression went cold. Dangerous. Get in the car. I obeyed, my heart pounding. He drove in silence, his jaw tight. When we reached the penthouse, he parked and turned to me. I am nothing like Ryan, he said, each word carefully controlled. Nothing. Do you understand? I know that. Do you? He leaned closer. Because you just compared me to a man who destroyed you. Who mocked you publicly. Who made you believe you were worthless. I didn't mean. I've spent months building you up. Showing you your worth. Teaching you that you're extraordinary. And one comment from a man whose opinion I don't give a shit about has you doubting everything. His hands gripped the steering wheel. I love you, Jason. Completely. Irrevocably. The fact that you don't believe that, it kills me. Tears were streaming down my face. I'm sorry. I don't want sorry. I want trust. He finally looked at me and the pain in his eyes broke my heart. I want you to believe that I chose you. Not because you're convenient or useful, but because you make me happy. Because when I imagine my future, you're in every single moment of it. Alex, I'm going to ask you something and I need complete honesty. His voice was steady now. Do you love me? Yes. God, yes. Do you trust me? I hesitated. Just a second. But it was enough. Alex's expression shuddered. I see. I want to trust you. But you don't. Not completely. He got out of the car. I think you should stay at your apartment tonight. We both need space to think. Alex, please? Good night, Jason. He walked away, leaving me sitting in his car, my whole world crumbling again. I didn't hear from Alex for 3 days. 3 days of silence. No texts. No calls. No random appearances at the diner or my classes. I was dying inside. You fucked up, Rosie said bluntly on day 2. I know. So fix it. How? I was washing dishes, my hands shaking. I told him I don't trust him. Do you trust him? I don't know. I scrubbed the plate violently. I want to. But what if he leaves? What if I'm not enough and he realizes it, Anne? Kid. Rosie took the plate from me. Look at me. I did. That man is head over heels for you. I've seen the way he looks at you. Like you hung the fucking moon. She softened slightly. But love without trust is just nothing. It can't survive. So what do I do? You decide. Either you trust him and jump in with both feet, or you end it now before you both get hurt worse. That night, I went to my apartment, the one I'd been neglecting since moving in with Alex, and sat in the dark, thinking. Ryan had taught me that love meant pain. That trusting someone was the same as giving them a weapon to destroy you. But Alex had spent months proving that wrong. Every day. Every moment. He'd never mocked me. Never made me feel less than. He'd celebrated my victories, supported my dreams, and loved me through my worst moments. He'd introduced me to his daughter. Bought me a business. Held me while I cried. And I'd compared him to Ryan. I grabbed my phone. Can we talk? I texted. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Finally, tomorrow. The cafe site. No. I'll be there. I arrived 15 minutes early, pacing in front of the construction zone that would soon be the second chapter. Alex showed up exactly at noon, dressed in a suit despite it being Saturday. He looked tired. Beautiful and tired and distant. Hi, I said quietly. Hi. Silence stretched between us. I'm sorry, I blurted out. For what I said. For comparing you to him. You're nothing like him and I know that You're scared. Alex's voice was gentle but firm. I understand that. Your fear is valid. But Jason, I can't love you enough to fix that fear. You have to choose to trust me. I know. Do you? He stepped closer. Because I'm all in. Completely. I want you in my life permanently. I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to build a future together, the cafe, Lily, maybe more children someday. I want everything. My heart was pounding. Alex. But I can't do that with someone who's always waiting for me to leave. Always doubting. Always comparing me to your past. His eyes met mine. So I need you to decide. Right now. Are you in or out? That's not fair. Life isn't fair. Love isn't fair. But it's simple. He cupped my face. Do you trust me, Jason? Yes or no? I looked at him, really looked at him. At the man who'd changed everything. Who'd seen me at my worst and stayed. Who'd believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. And I realized, I was more scared of losing him than I was of trusting him. Yes, I whispered. I trust you. Say it again. I trust you, Alex. Completely. And I'm sorry I made you doubt that. He kissed me. Hard and desperate and claiming, right there in public, not caring who saw. When we broke apart, both breathing hard, he pressed his forehead to mine. Move in with me. Officially. Bring all your things. Make it real. Okay. Let me put my name on the cafe lease as co-owner. Alex. Partners in everything. That's what I want. His hand slid to my waist. Can you give me that? Yes. I was crying again, but this time from joy. Yes to everything. Good. He kissed me again, softer this time. Because I'm not letting you go. Ever. Promise. Promise. We stood there, wrapped around each other, and I felt something shift inside me. The fear disappeared completely, because Alex was right. Love requires trust. And I trusted him. Finally. Take me home, I whispered against his lips. His eyes darkened instantly. Jason. Please. I need you. I need to feel you. I need to know this is real. He didn't need to be told twice. His hand found mine, threading our fingers together as he led me to his car. The drive back to the penthouse was silent but charged. His hand on my thigh, my hand covering his, both of us breathing too fast. The elevator ride up felt eternal. The moment the doors closed, Alex pushed me against the wall, his mouth claiming mine with a hunger that made my knees weak. I missed you, he growled between kisses. 3 days felt like 3 years. I'm sorry. Don't. He bit my lower lip, making me gasp. No more apologies. Just us. Right now. The elevator dinged. We stumbled into the penthouse, shedding clothes as we went. My jacket hit the floor. His tie followed. By the time we reached his bedroom, my shirt was unbuttoned and his hands were everywhere. My chest, my waist, my ass, claiming every inch of me. On the bed, he commanded, his voice rough with need. I obeyed, my heart pounding as I watched him strip off his shirt. God, he was beautiful. All lean muscle and controlled power, his dark eyes tracking my every movement like a predator watching prey. He crawled over me, settling between my legs, and kissed me until I couldn't remember my own name. His tongue explored my mouth, dominant and thorough, while his hands made quick work of my remaining clothes. When I was finally naked beneath him, he pulled back to look at me. Perfect, he murmured. You're so fucking perfect, Jason. Alex, please? Please what? His hand wrapped around my already hard length, and I arched off the bed with a cry. Use your words, baby. Tell me what you need. You, I gasped. I need you. Inside me. Please. His control visibly cracked. Are you sure? We've never. I'm sure. I trust you. I want this. I want you to make me yours completely. Something primal flashed in his eyes. Mine, he growled. Say it again. Yours. Only yours. He kissed me hard, then reached for the nightstand, pulling out supplies, lube, condoms. His hands were shaking slightly as he opened the bottle, and somehow that vulnerability made me love him even more. "I'll go slow," he promised, coating his fingers. "Tell me if it's too much." The first finger breached me carefully, and I tensed at the unfamiliar sensation. "Breathe," Alex murmured, his other hand stroking my hips soothingly. "Relax for me, baby. I've got you." I forced myself to breathe, to trust, and gradually my body accepted the intrusion. When he added a second finger, stretching me, the burn gave way to something else, something that made me moan and push back against his hand. "That's it," he praised, his fingers moving deeper, searching. "Let me make you feel good." When he found that spot inside me, I nearly came apart. Pleasure shot through me like lightning, and I cried out, my hands fisting in the sheets. "There," I gasped. "Right there. Oh God, Alex." He worked me open with practiced patience, adding a third finger, scissoring and stretching until I was writhing beneath him, begging incoherently for more. "You're ready," he said, withdrawing his fingers and rolling on a condom. "Look at me, Jason." I met his eyes as he positioned himself at my entrance. The head of his cock pressed against me and I tensed again. "Breathe," he reminded me, his hand cupping my face. "I love you. I've got you. Always." "I love you too," I whispered. He pushed in slowly, so slowly, and the stretch was intense. Overwhelming. I gasped, my nails digging into his shoulders, and he stopped immediately. "Too much." "No. Don't stop. Please don't stop." He continued, inch by careful inch, until he was fully seated inside me. We both groaned at the sensation, me at the fullness, the way he seemed to touch every nerve ending. Him at the tight heat surrounding him. "Fuck, Jason," he breathed, his forehead pressed to mine. "You feel incredible." He stayed still, letting me adjust, pressing soft kisses to my face, my neck, my lips. When I finally rolled my hips experimentally, he groaned. "Move," I begged. "Alex, please move." He did. Slowly at first, pulling almost all the way out before sliding back in, each thrust deliberate and controlled. But when I wrapped my legs around his waist, changing the angle, he hit that spot inside me again and I screamed. "There?" he asked, his voice strained. "Yes. Right there. Harder, please." His control shattered. He drove into me with purpose now, each thrust deep and powerful, hitting that perfect spot over and over until I couldn't think, couldn't breathe, could only feel. "Touch yourself," he commanded. "I want to watch you come while I'm inside you." I obeyed with shaking hands, wrapping my fist around my neglected cock and stroking in time with his thrusts. The dual stimulation was too much. The stretch and burn of him inside me, the friction of my own hand, the way he looked at me like I was everything. "Alex," I warned. "I'm going to. I can't. Come for me, baby. Let me see you." I came with a sob of his name, my release spilling over my hand and stomach as my body clenched around him. The sensation triggered his own orgasm. He thrust deep one final time and shuddered, groaning my name like a prayer. We collapsed together, both trembling and gasping for air. He pulled out carefully, disposing of the condom before gathering me into his arms. "Are you okay?" he asked, his hand stroking my hair. "Was I too rough?" "You were perfect." I pressed a kiss to his chest. I've never felt anything like that." "Neither have I." He tilted my face up to kiss me softly. "You're mine now, Jason. Completely. No more doubts. No more comparisons. Just us." "Just us," I agreed, feeling the truth of it settle into my bones. He held me until my breathing evened out, until the trembling stopped, until I felt safe and cherished and whole. "I'm never letting you go," he murmured into my hair. "Good," I whispered back. "Because I'm never leaving." And as I drifted off to sleep in his arms, our bodies still tangled together, I finally understood what it meant to be loved completely. This was home. This was forever. This was everything.